Welcome to the Irrigation Insights Podcast, where we talk about the business of irrigation. I'm your host, Jacob.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
All right, I'm back. Another solo episode. Ben could not make it today. He had other things going on, trying to keep the company running. So you're stuck with me. Hopefully it'll be a good episode. We'll see how this goes. Hopefully the last solo episode was all right. But yeah, I mean, it's the middle of summer. Everybody should be pretty busy, should be making money. Hopefully everything's going well. I know we are swamped. We're growing. Things are moving in the right direction. I know they are for a lot of people out there. I'm getting a lot of good messages, good feedback. And, if they're not, send me a message. Reach out. We'll see what we can help you with. Let me know what you're struggling with. Things definitely could be going better if they're not going well already. Well, we just had one thing I wanted to share. There's so many different ways you can run a business. I think that's one of the hard things about, when you go out on your own, you're running your business, kind of all up to you. Everybody does things different. And we just interviewed a guy from another company, big company. They're in a couple of states. I'm not going to say the name, but if I did, a lot of people would probably know who I'm talking about, at least if you're in the southern part of the country. And he came over here and interviewed and was telling us what they got going on over there, and it was not good. I mean, the management decisions that they're making is not good. It's going to run people off. It's already starting to run people off. That's why he was over here interviewing. And something to consider. I'll share with you what he said, but the management is a big one when you're managing your people. It's already hard enough to make money, make a profit, find good people. Everybody always talks about, I can't find good people. It might be, maybe you can't find good people. It might be the management, maybe just be keeping good people. This is a pretty big company. And they have people, and they're starting, the way this guy was talking, and then I know some other people that work there, it seems like they are about to start running everybody off. So from what he said, there was things like they cut out bonuses unless you're making a certain amount of money per job. So unless they just switched over their pay scale to where unless you hit like $500 on a job, you don't make any bonuses. You're just making your hourly rate. Their hourly rate's low. They're making decisions like you can't just fix a valve. You can't just swap out the internals. You have to cut it out every time. Every head has to be replaced with a 6-inch head, not just a 4-inch head. They're making them cut. If they have to do a head replacement, they have to cut down to the pipe, put in an entire new like swivel joint or riser or whatever they're going to do, but they can't just swap out the head. What else do they say? A whole bunch of stuff. If they want new parts on the van, they have to bring out the old parts. So if they change 5 heads at a customer's house and they want to restock their van with 5 more heads, they have to bring all 5 of those heads back. If they want to put 2 valves on their truck to replenish their stock, they have to turn in the 2 valves that they sold. They are cracking down on these guys. Wouldn't let them, show up early and clean out their truck. They couldn't prep their truck for the day. They had to be clocked in uniform to even start prepping their truck, and then they could go out. They can't do it early because they're not allowed to do it unless they're clocked in. They're not allowed to clock in early. It just, every decision they're making is all about nickel and diming that profit margin, which I do get. You need to be profitable, but they're going to kill the morale, which they've already done. You got to be careful about that stuff. That's rough. I hate to see it, really. It's going to be good for us. but it really kind of sucks. It's not good for the industry. So I don't know. There's something to consider when you start hiring people. You want to make it a good work environment. You have a good culture, good work environment. You can't be too lax on the rules. I think I was too easygoing in the beginning. Let people get away with too much. And I always had the mentality of, well, here's what you can't get away with, which was just a few things. Everything else I'm pretty easy going on, but then people started pushing those boundaries, pushing them until it got to the point where it was like, okay, well, now we're going to have to set some hard and fast rules on quite a bit of things. And we're still nowhere near like the company I was just talking about, but there's got to be some middle ground there. And it's still got to be a good work environment. Everybody's got to be happy. It's got to be easygoing. You can't just, I don't know, squeeze your way. There's that line, I might have said it on here before, but there's that line in Star Wars where, they told Darth Vader, the tighter you squeeze, the more of the galaxy will slip through your fingers. And that's exactly what's happening at that other company. They're just squeezing and squeezing, thinking they can just squeeze their way into growth or profitability, squeeze more profit out of this company. And really all they're going to do is just squeeze so tight that everybody ends up leaving. And they'll slip right through their fingers. It's not good. That's not a position you want to be in. And I know a lot of people out there, they're still struggling to hire their first person, hire their second person. It's so critical. I talk about it a lot, but those first couple of people, especially that first one, that's where you build the culture. And I would even wait. There's probably some people out there who are like, man, I really want to hire a guy. I want to hire somebody. It might even be reaching to the point of desperation and they want to hire somebody so bad. But I would just say, slow down. Wait till you find the right person. And they don't have to be, that doesn't mean that they already know how to do the work. That just means they have the right attitude, that they're willing to learn, they're motivated, they're hungry. They're not the type of person that just wants a 9-to-5 job. They don't care. They don't care about the hours necessarily. They're eager, young, eager, ready to work hard, ready to make money, ready to get out there. And they're quick learner, confident in themselves. You find somebody like that, bring them on. And it might take you a year to find them, but when you do, get them. And then, you decide what the culture is going to be with them. This is when we start. This is when we end. This is what our daily goals are. Help them hit those goals. And then the next person, they come in there, they got to do the same thing. And they'll just mesh. Everybody will just start to do that. And if the next person you bring in doesn't want to do that, tell them to leave. That way, everybody you start building with is on the same page as you. So, I don't know, something to think about. Because I know I'm trying to really get a gauge on what our audience is kind of all over the place. A lot of solo guys. A lot of people in the irrigation industry are solo guys. A couple people have 1 or 2 employees. There's not a lot of people that have, dozens of employees or a dozen employees or anything like that. So I'm trying to give some advice for the people that are still solo, maybe have 1 or 2 employees, help get to that dozen employee mark. Yeah. Don't sabotage yourself. Don't let your ego get in the way. But, I got some questions from Facebook here. So this guy says, 6 years in, still stuck in the truck, struggling to get enough business to even hire a helper. SEO in place, don't have much capital to compete on ad spend. One of my goals this year is to start networking, public speaking, promoting myself and my business is the scariest thing I've ever done. How important has networking been for you? And do you have any tips or tricks to do it effectively? And it's 6 years in and still stuck in the truck. And can't afford to hire a helper. And we've talked about this. I think a lot of people hit this in the comments, but public speaking isn't going to help you. I don't, that's definitely going to help. I mean, we almost got stuck. So many people get stuck in this wheel, rat wheel, or whatever you want to call it, and they just go round and round forever until they finally realize what they need to do to get out of it. And you can get stuck there forever. I mean, you could be there for 40 years. It's all just a mindset. Everything really kind of comes down to a mindset of how fast you grow, and how fast things change is really up. I know that sounds so cliche, but it really is just a mindset. I mean, a little bit of luck, a little bit of timing, but primarily a mindset shift and just being willing to implement changes. Because we were right here. I mean, this guy's definitely not charging enough if he can't hire a helper. If you're going to be out there time and material at $80 an hour, and you think when you're starting out, $80 an hour, man, I was only making, $18 an hour at my last job or whatever, $16 an hour, it doesn't matter. You think $80 an hour is definitely enough. It's not enough. $120 an hour is definitely enough. $150 an hour is definitely enough. It's not enough. If all you want to do is work solo, it's enough. If you actually want to grow the business, it's not enough. And that's where you have to start really changing your mindset. And even once you grasp that, okay, it's not enough, I have to charge more, then you have to figure out how to do it. And we've talked about this in earlier episodes, figuring out what your actual cost is. And then just going out and putting it in a flat rate, having confidence in that price. And you don't have to do it all at once. But you will have to do it. And you're going to have to do it slowly. If that's what makes you comfortable, do it slowly. And you'll see everything will be okay. But yeah, I mean, if you can't afford to hire a helper, I mean, you got to think, when you're by yourself, you are the employee. You should be able to pay yourself as an employee and still have 20% left over. And really, money to grow. You should be able to fund all of your expenses, pay yourself a livable wage as an employee, fund your growth, and still have 20% left over. It's going to be a lot. You're going to have to charge more than you think you will. And SEO in place. I mean, this guy just posted this not that long ago. SEO is a long play. I always see people going to, man, I need leads. Let me get some SEO. Like, you don't just get SEO. SEO is, it's going to take, a year, 12 months, 24 months. And then you're competing with people who have been doing SEO for 10 years already. So you can't just catch up to them. This is not, websites are ranked on domain authority. Well, if you just created a new website, you won't catch up to me. My website's been out for a long time. My domain authority is already going to be higher. I mean, you could theoretically, you can, in actuality, pass somebody else's website who's been around longer than you, but you're going to have to really get some backlinks. I mean, you're going to have to get serious. You can't just like, oh, let me hire this marketing agency. They said they do SEO. It's $800 a month. That's not going to work. You're going to have to get on the news. You need all the local news channels pointing to your website. Google's going to have to see that, oh, this is a serious website. Look at all of these other websites with super high domain authority pointing to this one website. It's going to, and that's hard to do. That takes either a serious ad budget or luck getting on the news or something. I mean, it's going to take something. SEO that's tough. same thing with this post here. This guy's talking about, he says, does anybody ever lay off their service techs during the winter? Or do a retainer pay or something to make sure that they come back in the spring? He's curious how everybody handles service techs when the work dries up. This is, the same thing. You have to charge enough for that. When we did an episode on our hourly rate where you figure out your hourly rate based on you're charging for the winter in the summer. You figure out how many billable hours you have per employee for 365 days a year. Well, you take out the weekends and take out 2 weeks for vacation, and then you get your total billable hours for 50 weeks out of the year, and then you're going to cut that by 40%. And then because you're really only going to bill like 60% of the year, maybe 50% of the year, depending on where you are. People up north working 6 months out of the year, your billable hours are 50% of the year. And then once you have your billable hours, you can divide that by all of your actual expenses. And then you can get your expenses plus your profit and your growth plan. And then you can get an actual hourly rate, which is going to be, when you see that number, it's quite a bit higher than what you think. And that's why you don't charge per hour. You charge flat rate. And when you do that, then you realize like, oh, okay, I can actually pay my guys through the winter. We can, keep advertising through the winter. We can start actually doing this stuff because we're charging for the whole year in the 8 months that we work, the 9 months that we work, or the 6 months that we work. We're charging for the whole year just in the time that we work. That's the only way to do it. If you lay off your guys every year, and I've heard of people doing this, or I've heard that they put them on unemployment. But unemployment doesn't even pay 100%. And in Texas, you have to actively be looking for jobs. You have to apply for unemployment. You have to be applying for other jobs. It's not easy to get on unemployment. That's a nightmare. You're going to put your employees through that. They're going to find another job. I would not stick around through that. That's crazy. You have to just charge it. I wouldn't even consider, if that was the only way to operate a business, I wouldn't even do it. You just charge for it. And don't think about, when you figure out what you need to charge, people always get so hung up on the number. Even some of our new technicians will get hung up on the number of like, man, you really charge that? It's not about what you charge. It's about how much value do you add to what you're charging to make it worth it. Because that's just the way it is. That's the way the customer sees it. It's like, it's not really about the total. For some people it is, but it's not really about the total. It's about, is it worth the total? And if you can make the value worth the total, then you can get paid what you need to make in order to survive. And the customer gets enough value that it's worth it for them. Everybody wins. Everybody's happy. You have happy customers, you have happy employees, and everybody keeps on moving. You keep on growing. It's a beautiful thing when it works out. And you'll get more confident. You'll see that, oh, yeah, this does work. Try it out. Yeah, another guy asked, can a one-man owner consistently make $1,000 a day solo doing repairs? I think everybody knows the answer to that one. You definitely can. If you can't, you should make $1,000 a day in, I'm not going to say net profit, but in gross profit, pretty easy. You should be able to do that. As long as if you're working all day, every day, you should be able to do that pretty easy. This is a good one, I thought. This guy's complaining that people will spend $80,000 on a pool, but won't spend $3,000 to redo the irrigation around their new pool. See, what we've really done is try to make it as easy as possible for all of our customers to buy from us. If you come to my house, if I just got an $80,000 pool and you come to my house and say, yep, it's $3,000 to do the irrigation, I take cash only. Cash or check. Okay, well, the odds of me buying from you are pretty small now, even if I like you, because maybe I want to put it on a credit card. Now, a lot of people do take credit cards, but I still see people out there writing paper invoices. I'm wondering, how many people even take credit cards. But, okay, let's say you take credit cards also. You got cash, check, credit or debit card. Okay, well, that's cool. I can put the $3,000 on a credit card, but I just got $80,000 pool. I don't really want to do that. And, the pool is obviously financed, but still, I don't want to do that. I don't want to put it on a credit card. What we have done is we use third-party financing and we have in-house financing. We're trying to make it as easy as possible. We can say, hey, you got this third-party company you can apply for. You can get zero interest. Here's the thing with them. Or you can go through in-house and you can do it right with us. Either way. So you can pay us multiple ways. You can get all the work done and you don't even have to pay the $3,000 a day. You can just pay it over 24 months. How easy is that? Instead of paying $3,000, why don't you pay $150 a month or whatever it comes out to be? Just add that on top of the pool payment. Consider it part of the pool payment. And you can pay it off early if you'd like. And we started doing in-house because a lot of, the two big third-party financing companies that integrate with Service Titan, they have minimums, and we wanted to offer it a little bit lower than what their minimums are. So we started doing some in-house stuff, and it's worked out really well. I mean, we're closing more in-house than we are with third-party. Third parties have fees. The other thing I don't like about third party with zero interest is, the zero interest through third parties, they're promotional things. So if the customer doesn't pay off that $3,000, it's zero interest $3,000, sure, but if they don't pay it off in that promotional period, then they get slammed at like 30% interest on the full amount, not just the remaining balance, the full amount. And that's not really your problem, but it is your customer. I mean, you signed them up for that, so it's not great. I just don't. With the in-house, we can control that. They're just going to pay us. We draft it right from their bank account, routing and account numbers. No problem. And then we're not going to, if it runs over by 1 or 2 months, I'm not going to slam them at 30% interest or 50% interest like these other financing companies will. But the idea is just to make it as easy as possible. You could pay cash, check, credit card. You could pay in-house finance. You could do third-party financing. I wonder how long it's going to be before people start taking Bitcoin. But you see the same thing with Affirm, with all these other buy now, pay later. They're just everywhere. You go to Walmart, they have it at the self-checkouts. Anything online, you go to Amazon, it's, your item's $75 and they're saying, do you want to pay $75 and you want to pay, 4 payments or whatever? It's just the way of the world now. Yeah. So we're trying to adapt to that, make it really easy to say yes. Really easy. All right, I got this other question here, and I think he's talking about commercial properties, but this guy says he wants some feedback. He said, are you a business owner that seeks out problems on a job site and says you need this and that, plus I need to come back every 60 days and charge you money to throw my thumb up? Or are you like me? You go to a job and fix just what they called about and keep moving. To me, this guy, he says, to me, I feel like it's better to have, he says he feels like it's better for customer relations when he says, don't worry about all that stuff. We'll fix it next time. I'm reading through this garbage here. Yeah, he says pretty much he'll just fix it next time. If he tries to fix everything all at once, he thinks it's robbing them. Pretty much what he says. So he's asking everybody which approach. I don't know if he's talking. Seems like he's talking about commercial because maybe not. I mean, I would say really, for commercial, a lot of commercial contracts, they want you to come out and give the thumbs up. So if you're talking about commercial, yeah, you should be going out checking everything, at least offering options on all. If they call you about a leak, you should be checking everything, pointing out, hey, these valves could be going out soon. These are starting to stick. The ohm readings are low or high or whatever. But start pointing it out and building some quotes for that. At least put it out there. Let it be known. They could have some issues. Maybe they want to do it right now. Maybe they don't. A lot of commercial places do want you to check it quarterly or twice a year, something. I don't know why you would just not want those service agreements. Those are very valuable. That would be crazy to me that you wouldn't want that, and you would just want them to wait and call you because who says they will? For residential, even for residential, I don't know that I would charge a residential $300, quarterly to, for like a 10-zone system just to come out and put my thumbs up. But still, can you not put residential customers on a service agreement and come out and check it, twice a year, 3 times a year, 4 times a year, however often. You can offer options on that. Hey, we have 3 different service agreements, twice a year, 3 times a year, 4 times a year. We come out, it's not $300, but it's, it's this much. And we come out and we check it often. It includes a couple of head replacements. This is what we do. Why would you not do that? And then if you find, yeah, you definitely have a leak over here, and a couple of these heads are just barely popping over the grass. They're really kind of just spraying the grass. I would definitely swap those out also, or at least think about it, because you're not really getting coverage in those areas. They are working, but it's not really working that great. Why would you not do that? Don't leave that for the next go around. You know how many people are upset whenever you take their money and then they have a problem again in the future? There's so many reasons they're upset. They're upset you're wasting their time. They have to schedule another appointment. It makes you look bad that you didn't find it. We've had people, 3 months later, there's a whole new issue in there, just calling upset. Like, why didn't you find this? This should have been fixed on the first one. And it's like, sometimes it's a new issue. We've had it where they've called in and said that, well, you should have fixed this the first time. It should be free now. And it's like, well, we actually sent you an estimate for it the first time. You said you didn't want to do it. Here is the estimate dated for the day we came out there originally. So no, it's not going to be free. You said you didn't want to. That's, another reason you send estimates on everything, at least to cover your butt there. You're that's what a professional does, in my opinion. You're going out there. It's not, like these guys like this look at it like they're trying, and he even said it, like, I'm trying to rob the customer. We're not trying to rob anybody. We're not trying to make unnecessary money either. We're trying to provide the best service. And if you call me out to your house or your commercial building, you're paying me for the service call. So now it's my job to do a thorough inspection, let you know everything I found. All right, everything that's actually broken, everything that could break, everything that should be improved. All of it. Hey, these areas are not getting good coverage. If I were you, I would move ahead over here, or let's swap these nozzles. You have mix match here and there. These rotors aren't spinning. Just whatever is going on. All these heads are too low. These are too high and they're sticking out of the ground. The guy that mows your lawn could be cutting those, or he might cut those. Just whatever you find. But it's your job to find out everything that's going on and bring it to them. Whether they want to do it or not is up to them, but now they know. Now, like, you've actually worked for that service call, that inspection that they're paying for. You've worked for it. If you just go out there, they pay you whatever, $80, $150 to come out and inspect their system. And even if you find all that stuff and you just kind of like, that's good. I'm not even going to bring that up to them. I don't want to make them pay for anything they don't need. I'm just going to point out the leak. Well, who are you to make that decision? This kind of screws them, because maybe they want that stuff fixed. Maybe they don't even know about it. You didn't even give them the option. And you just decided for yourself not to tell them. Like, you didn't even give them their money's worth on the inspection. So I would be kind of upset, if you come out there, do whatever repair, and then 3 weeks later, a valve goes out, and I'm like, yo, you were just here. How's the valve go out? Yeah, well, it was working. It was working when I left. How many times do we hear that? It was working when I left. Yeah, well, did you not check it? Are you sure? Like, no, yeah, I checked. It was working. Yeah, well, you couldn't tell that it was about to go out? Like, what? You didn't even bring anything up to me. All you do is fix this and leave. And that's what they're thinking. Now I got to take off again. Now I got to take off work again. Now I got to take time out of my day to come meet you back here, pay you more money, maybe pay you another service call. Are you going to charge me another service call? I don't want to pay you another service call. You should have fixed this the first time. That's what they're thinking. And they're kind of right to think it. I don't know. That fires me up, man. Don't be like that. Just offer the options. And sometimes you can't tell. But, if you can't tell, you can't tell. Sometimes these things happen. But if you are intentionally just passing over stuff because you're deciding that, they don't need it right now, that's not your choice. It's not your choice. That's their choice. You should at least mention it. That they're paying for that inspection. So give them everything that you find. Be the professional. It bothers me. It bothers me when my technicians do it. It bothers me when I see people out there thinking that that's the right thing to do. It's not. It's not the right thing to do. I mean, at the very least, bring it up. If you say, hey, I found this, I think it can wait a little bit, but that's up to you. I mean, you can just talk yourself out of the sale if you want to, but at least bring it up. I bet you if you did that and talked yourself out of the sale, you'd still have some people that went and said, nah, let's go ahead and do it. You'd probably get at least 10, 20% of those. You could probably try not to sell it and you still sell some of them. Because some people they value their time more than you do. They value their time more than their money. And they don't want to see you again. And they'd rather just do it now and move on. Yeah, it just drives me crazy. People get in their own way. So many people could be so much further. If really, take some chances, do what everyone else is doing. Or not everyone else, at least not in the irrigation industry, but do what the bigger companies are doing. Big plumbing companies, big HVAC, big electrical companies. Do what they're doing. And you'll start to see things turn around. That's it for today. Sorry for getting fired up there at the end. I just get passionate about this stuff. I preach this to my guys. Got to get them believing in it too. But, that's it. Like and subscribe. Send this to your friends. If you have any questions, if you are struggling with anything, if you're not busy, if you're struggling to find people, if anything at all, send me a question. Oh, actually reminds me, I do have one more question. Where'd it go? A guy said he was about to buy his second van. Want to know if I had any tips on building a fleet and maintaining them. I really don't. I would say just buy all the same. Don't be one of the guys that's like, oh, let me get a Ford, let me get a Chevy, let me get a Dodge, let me get all different stuff. Just get all the same stuff, and then you'll start to figure out what's going to break, because it'll be the same thing on all of them, and whatever you get, if you buy a Dodge, you'll figure out what's going to break on those Dodges, and they'll all break. The same thing will break on all of them. But other than that, it's, I don't know. I've compared the cost of leasing versus buying. For me, I don't know. For me, buying makes more sense. So we just buy vans, wrap them, stock them, and that's it. We buy the same van every time. I already know what I'm looking for. I know exactly what I'm looking for. I'm not going to get anything different. That's it. So, yeah. Like and subscribe. Send us to your friends. And we will see you next week.